Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Wednesday, July 15th. I'm going to be continuing to play the game Persona 3 Reload as a part of my Persona A Day series. That's why I've been playing the game one in-game day at a time, as it lines up with the real calendar. As I like to do, I'm going to start off by going over what we did yesterday to make sure we've got all the same information coming into things. Then we'll get into today's gameplay and see where that takes us. And after that, we'll come back here to the desk and talk about it. I'll have timestamps in the description in case you want to jump ahead to a different section. And since this is a full playthrough of the game, please be aware that we will be encountering spoilers. Okay then, so let's take a look back first at what happened yesterday on Tuesday the 14th. Tuesday was the day we'd been preparing for the last week or so, maybe technically a little longer than that even. It was day one of the first semester final exams. So we've been doing all the studying we can to get ready, and this was the chance to put that into practice. Thankfully, in my case, my favorite topic was the topic for the first day of exams, that being the magic lesson. And even better than that, it was a question I readily knew the answer to. The question dealt with what was the ancient form of magic used to find hidden water sources underground, and I knew before I even had the choices that that answer was dowsing. Really exciting, and especially to see that option come up when I got to the multiple choice portion. But yeah, that was just such a good confidence builder to start the day off, because I answered that, and the game told me that I have a good feeling about that answer, and I think it's the right one. And I feel good about that as well, so that was really encouraging. But just to get through that very first day and start things off on a good note, it's a lot better than trying to work that uphill battle of trying to answer questions that you don't remember. That doesn't mean that can't happen going forward. I'm not using any sort of guides or anything, so each day I'm going to take it as it comes, but to have day one behind me in a good way feels encouraging. We didn't get to see anything else for the day. No after-school activities were running, all of our social links were doing other things, presumably studying. So technically that was all we got to see at all for the day, but it was a full day, so I did kind of like to add a little bit of my own story to things. I kind of figured after school, I got back and, there were probably some people available at the dorm, so I kind of figured maybe all of the second years got together. Junpei, Yukari, Fuka, and I. And we all just talked about the first day's exams and went over our notes for the topics being covered today. Just to, really refresh whatever happened, just to get us all on the same page and make sure we're as ready for today as we can be. Yeah, of course, we didn't see any of that, so that's just kind of what I'm assuming happened in the world, but that's how it's going to be for our playthrough. Whatever it was, we got to bed at a good time, get a full night of sleep for today, to come into today fully rested up and ready for the tests. So, that was everything that we saw and everything that we decided happened yesterday. Let's get into today's gameplay and see how that goes. I'll be right there. Okay, so here we are. And actually, this is the end of Tuesday's exams. This is where I had the feeling I had the right answer on the magic portion. So we'll finish that. And the way these exams are presented doesn't really have breaks between them, so each day flows from one to the next to the next. So that's kind of why we're jumping in here, and we'll jump presumably right to Wednesday from here. So yeah, that's where things wrapped up for Wednesday. Or for Tuesday into Wednesday. And yeah, we're right back here at the desk again. Like I said the other day, it's always good when questions seem familiar. How did the Witch of Agnesi gain the first half of its name? This was a math problem. Was it about a spiral? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter what it is since we're talking about the name of it, not its function. That had something to do with the... Well, let's take a look at the answers and see how that plays out. As well as I was trying to hopefully have the answer already in my mind before we got there, but this being a multiple choice, let's see if that helps me out a little bit. Okay. I was thinking it had something to do with wording somewhere. I wasn't sure if it was written incorrectly or an error in translation seems to be the most fitting, but also looking at the other options, this is the only one that stands out as less odd. The shape is bewitching, doesn't seem overly likely. It's an enchanting formula. I think that might have been the way the math teacher described it, but I don't think that's an actual reason for the name. And a witch invented it. Well, a fun thought. Probably not the correct answer, so if nothing else, process of elimination to me suggests this is probably our correct answer. But I do vaguely remember something about how it was, like I said, I thought it was how it was written, but that kind of equates to how it was translated. So let's see how that plays out. It's always kind of that, like, okay, this is my answer, right? An error in translation. Big moment. Okay. I have a feeling this is the right answer. That was encouraging after day 1, so it's also encouraging to see it here on Wednesday after day 2. Okay, well, kind of expected it based on the trend we saw the other day, but it looks like that was the end of Wednesday already. So, strange as it is to say, let's head back to the desk and talk about everything we did today on Wednesday the 15th. Okay, so here we are. And that was the end of Wednesday, July 15th. It was a great day, even though it was a shorter one from what we saw. Being able to talk out that question and looks like I came to the right answer is always a good feeling. I didn't feel as good as I did with the dowsing question the other day, but, well, however you get there to the right answer, I think that's okay. Process elimination is an important side of test taking. It kind of goes hand in hand with knowledge in some capacity. Just kind of looking over the day. Like I say, here we got up before school. We got to school, and that's where our gameplay picked up. That was all we got to see, really. When we started right off into the test, and all we got was that one question, and that was all we got to see. So kind of like yesterday, the rest of the day happened. We had lunch, we had afternoon classes, and we went home to the dorm in the evening. I like to think, there had to be something, so I must have done something with the rest of my day, even though there aren't any club activities meeting. So, maybe I grabbed a bite to eat on the way home and got home in the afternoon to just do some more review for tomorrow's tests. Maybe while I was studying, maybe Akihiko showed up and said, hey, let's go for a jog. Kind of clear our heads, do something different. And maybe I went along with him. It was kind of that same idea as what we were talking about when Mitsuru and I were studying last week, talking about how having breaks is an important part of keeping the mind flowing for review. So maybe he and I, we enjoyed a bit of a jog, some physical activity together, came back to the dorm, and maybe he was going to do some studying of his own. So maybe he invited me to study with him, and I could kind of bounce questions off of him to really solidify the material for what's being covered tomorrow. Just kind of how I figure maybe it went. We didn't get to see any of that, and as far as the game's concerned, none of that actually happened, but I'm going to say that's how things went in our playthrough. So, it was a really good day, and that was actually about how it came together. So, without further ado, that was the end of Wednesday, July 15th. It was a really good day. I'm happy with how it came together, and I hope I can just keep it going from here. I just want to thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Tom Shima. I stream this Persona A Day series live every day at 12:30. Anytime you want to be here, I would love to have you. I also upload each day's playthrough to my YouTube channel, so if it works better for your schedule to watch that way, that's what those are there for. I've got every episode of the series uploaded there, so you can watch as much or as little as you want at whatever schedule works best for you. And I just hope we all have a wonderful Wednesday. We've hit that midpoint of the week, so hopefully we're overcoming the things we need to get through. Hopefully it's going well, and hopefully there's some fun positivity waiting after we complete it. We'll just have to all keep giving our best as we get closer and closer. I have been Tom Shima. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope I can see you again tomorrow. And until our paths cross again, I hope you take care. Thank you very much, and goodbye.